recorded in sinfully sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Avantpop Bookstore presents interviews. Joining me now is recording hip-hop artist Young Keefa. Young Keefa lives here in Las Vegas and has recorded multiple albums, and his latest release is I Know They Mad. It came out in 2022, and his latest single is Stay Solid. Young Keefa.
You're good, man. You're good.
Well, let's try this a second time.
Hey,
With
man.
me right now, I have got Young Keefa, Big Keefa, a.k.a. also Mr. Big Smoothie.
Hey, man. What's good? What's good,
What's
man? How you doing, Shwa?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's it's been a long few days, but we're back at it.
Yes, sir.
We had technical difficulties with our first. It could have been that big infused blunt we smoked.
Could have just a little bit, but hey, we're gonna keep it rolling.
Everything's going good now. So
yes, sir, always.
Recording artist, hip hop star, Las Vegas up and coming, Young Keefa, man.
Yes, sir.
What is up?
What's good, man? What's good?
Yeah.
Hey, just moving around, just taking a little time off some shows,
Yeah.
doing some podcasts with my guys.
You've been doing a
Avantpop.
lot of nice live shows now. Let's circle back around and start again. Where you from?
Originally from Bedford Heights, Ohio, small city outside of Cleveland, Ohio. But I moved around a little bit. I want to say all my life, my parents kind of had different jobs growing up. So I lived in, the Chicago area. I lived in the Atlanta area. I lived in Knoxville. I lived in Delaware, and now Vegas. So, but essentially, the move was kind of with me and my family with coming to Vegas. But I lived a little bit of everywhere, seen a little.
And you had a dual lifestyle too, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Growing up a little bit where, my family necessarily, my mom wasn't married to my real dad, so I always had to go see or court visitation for my real dad. So essentially, wherever he lived in Delaware at the time or Cleveland at the time when I was living in Chicago, I would have to go see him. So it was always, different, but it was good that I got to see, that side of my family as well. I have 6 little brothers, an older sister. So it's good to see, the bigger side of the family. I'm an only child with my mom. So it's, it's a blessing either way.
Yeah. And I love it because you've got that two sides of your music too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how would you describe your music?
It's, I want to say like a little bit of everything, a little bit of everywhere that I lived. Essentially, I've lived in, different sides of the tax bracket, if you want to say, or, the food chain. So I have a broad span of music and how I want to be perceived as, I want to basically be okay for everyone. You know what I mean? I want to be able to speak to everyone, be able to speak to, the guys that are having, their way. And I want to be able to speak with the people that are trying to have their way, are trying to grow their business, be able to help people that are trying to grow their business, even in the music industry. So that's my big thing. I just want to be able to, touch everybody.
Yeah, you got a lot of working class and entrepreneur vibe and high class, like making it vibe, like the goals and like the path. And that's kind of what it comes through in your music.
Yes, sir. I was like, we came a long way, but I know we still have far to go. But in the midst of it, you still like to have fun, take some time and, really look at how far you came and, you know, stick out your chest a little bit. It's not necessarily cocky, but it's good to, you know, talk your stuff a little bit. So it's not
enjoy the high, baby.
Exactly. Always.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was thinking the DIY style that you're doing it all like grassroots on your own. You built a team, a production crew. You got your own record label. I mean, you've really done it DIY, and now it's independent. Like
yes,
you've made it to that style of like, no, it's solid independent. Like you're out there, you're making it, you're performing. You guys are doing shows. Like you're going across the nation now, and you got multiple albums. I mean,
yes, sir.
But you've all done it. Like talk about your journey there. I mean, it's inspiring. Like how you've done.
I appreciate that. You know, first of all, but I mean, just from the beginning, I necessarily didn't take it seriously as, oh, we're going to be on all platforms and things like that. You know, I started with my friends. We were recording at their house, making little booths in their closet and, you know, burning CDs, passing it out to the friends, passing it out to the little girls at school and stuff. But after maybe a couple years, we started listening to it and people were like, hey, you need to, you know, really put this down. Why aren't y'all on Apple Music? Why aren't y'all on Spotify? All this stuff like that. I was like, well, maybe we should go to the real studio. So, you know, I had a little pizza shop job at the time, you know, so I just kind of put a few checks aside and said, let's go to the studio. And, you know, me and my friends just started going to the studio. Everybody put in like a big pot basically for studio time, for videos, for, you know, mixtape things, you know, just a big record label ish thing. And that's kind of where it started, where I started in a group, Never Not Working. And basically we all just kind of, hey, we all rap, but okay, you do this side of the business good, so let's do this. You do this side of the business good, and it just kind of came all together. But essentially, we all kind of broke off and started doing our own thing. So I, you know, took what we had, you know, some different people helped me out along the way. Shout out Larry Lavelle and Team GQP. Just with the business aspect, as I'm dropping projects, you know, coming off of SoundCloud and going to Spotify, going to Apple Music, and really, you know, LLCing yourself and being able to, you know, own your masters and basically just take full ownership of your projects and your music. That's the biggest part of, I would say, being an independent artist right now, or being an artist, period, in the music industry. Because once you necessarily sign, some of those go away, but that's what you're, you know, getting paid for. So it's been, you know, the journey's been up. It's been like a up and down, but I feel like now it's starting to progress more and more. As long as you stay consistent, as long as I stay consistent with everything, and that's with anyone, it will grow. But now, I mean, we're doing more shows, like you were just saying. We're on our 11th show.
You got residency in Las Vegas, baby. That's solid right there.
Man, it was those 3-4 shows we had just back to back every single week. It was great, man. It's you know, the love that it's finally coming back from, you know, Vegas and everything. We show so much love to Vegas, and you know, I've been working with so many different Vegas artists, producers, you know, shout out J Frequency, shout out Nomad, once again, Larry Lavelle and Infamous Moon. You know, a lot more artists that, you know, we want to see working, you know, big on the same type of platforms. But it's just getting there, man. Work in process.
Yeah. Well, you're working it, man. That's for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Now, what was your Your first EP was
Designer and Rose.
Designer Rose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2019.
Wow, it seems like so long ago now.
I'm telling you, man. Like, what, 3-4 years ago now? It's like, I want to say, 67 songs later?
Yeah, dude. It's like I turn on Spotify and you got a new one out, dude, and it's charting. Like, you're like rising. It's getting likes and listens nonstop, dude.
Yes, sir.
What's your latest single now?
Stay Solid.
Stay Solid. That's right.
That one just dropped. I want to say September 16th. So that one's doing pretty good right now. Just want to stay consistent. You know, I'm looking into even jumping into different genres. I was talking to my tour DJ, shout out to DJ Roulette, and he was basically given some other opportunities for performances, but he wanted to have more radio edits. You know, he wanted, it's a more family oriented, but they're bigger festivals, things like that, which is wonderful, great exposure. But, I was a little timid at first because that's maybe not my identity. I'm a little
got an edge.
Yeah, on edge with my music. So, business and music is a little bit different for me. So it's just the persona of how, I wanted to carry myself. But at the end of the day, I have to look at it as a business aspect. As, do you want to just, corner yourself off to, one aspect of the industry, or do you want to open yourself up? Do you want to grow? So it's all about growing. It's all about that. So I was looking into, making more songs with less curse words. I was looking into making a EDM song, possibly even making a gospel song. But it's just, I'm just looking into different aspects. Now, obviously I have, so many songs, 50, 60 songs out and maybe in the vault of hip hop and rap and everything, but I do want to step out and venture into different ones, R&B, anything is, it's open. It's all in the air. I'm open to work.
Well, I mean, I can't even think of songs that you cuss in, but I think cannabis, on the other hand, might not always be family friendly.
I mean,
depending on your state.
Yeah, depending on the state. But I mean, I feel like now it's starting to get, to get family friendly. But we're not necessarily saying, hey, kids, go smoke. But it's, it's starting to come into those family households where mom may need to take an edible or a little joint to get through, the next couple of days and things like that.
It's true. We're finally there where we can talk about it. Mom's been doing it for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, especially dad. But, they don't have to sneak out to the garage no more or nothing like that.
That's right. Well, dude, your music already has that self-made vibe, and it's just your music cruises. It's just so smooth, baby.
I appreciate it, man.
That's my one time. Now, you got we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and I want you to talk about Potency Pull-Up.
Potency Pull-Up, okay. Yeah. Actually, this would be our third year with doing the Potency Pull-Up. Basically, Potency Pull-Up is where we reach out to a shelter or and we're talking homeless shelter, maybe like abuse shelter, daycares, anyone that basically needs help or the less fortunate, and we give them canned goods, turkeys. We try to even, if we can get enough donations, try to give them cash donations. We give them clothes, blankets, anything that can help the community. Last year, it actually got so big to where we branched out into 5 different cities around the U.S. Cleveland, Topeka, Kansas, Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta. It was really special, man. And this year I'm partnering with XO Herbal in Cleveland. He has a few daycares out there that he'll be helping out with the less fortunate as well, and being able to help out with giving canned goods, clothes to the kids, toys, things like that. And it's just, if no one's gonna help us, so I feel like we have to help ourselves.
Yeah.
It's I know we have to, get up and go to work and things like that, but sometimes, that's not enough. Some jobs aren't available. Some jobs may not, hire a certain criteria, a certain age bracket, things like that. So some people are forced just to settle with certain jobs, and I totally understand that. I've been in that predicament growing up, and that's why I want to have my own business, or I have my own business now. And, I want to be able to give the community jobs off of my business and be able to help the world and, help world hunger. A big thing in my family right now, and I know in a lot of Black families, is diabetes. I want to be able to do a research group and, help out to the Diabetes Foundation. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, my grandmother on my father's side passed from bone cancer. I want to try to set up a bone cancer research as well. So it's just a lot that we're working towards, but I know it's one thing at a time.
Now, for Potency Pull-Up now, where you're doing your food drives, where do people show up for that? Where can they find out more?
The Potency Pull-Up usually, and it's usually at random places, kind of, sort of, because no one really knows, hey, this is where, the highest, populated area is, where the less fortunate is, and things like that. That kind of changes on a daily or on a yearly basis. So what ends up happening is you can definitely contact, at Young Keefa or Potency Music ENT at iCloud.com and for more information. And, we will definitely set up, if you want to give any canned good donations, any blankets, socks, clothes, or any funded donations as well, to, pass out food to the less fortunate that we see on the street. And we'll go out maybe a day or two before and see what locations where will we need to be. And then we can kind of disperse that information. Hey, we're going to be here this day and be here this day, because the first year I set a place for it and it really didn't work out as well for the location. It wasn't that it was farther from the area of the people that needed more help. People pulled up, but the people that really needed help, we went down to them. And then the next year we did the same thing, and it was just it was so great, man. It got bigger. But yeah. I would say the first year where we were able to, we had a whole team of people. Like last year it was kind of like this city, kind of maybe 4 or 5 people this city, and I want to say 4 or 5 people in each and every city helped out, which is great as well, because it was more broad. And that's the whole thing. If I could do this in 50 states, I will.
Yeah. It's entrepreneurism, but it's also activism, man. You're an activist who's making changes, and when people say they can't, or it's too difficult to make change, like you're a perfect example. Somebody going out there and just these little steps of trying to reach out and change your community and be a positive aspect of community, man. You're doing it. You're walking the walk, and that you should be proud of. You also, when it comes to music, you do some mentoring too. You got some young up and comings that you're working with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little about that.
I mean, it's a few artists that I'm like looking towards signing, but at the same time, it would, mean the world to me whether, they got a record deal, just from our work that we put in. I do more of, the artist building and a little bit of the artist management, depending on what they want or what they need to have done or what they want. Say they want to do more shows, they want, more promotion with, Instagram, and, they want to just be out there, start up their whole music career, because some artists, they're just blocked into SoundCloud. And I'm like, you go to a real studio and pay your real money and post it on SoundCloud. We have to change this whole dynamic of how we do money, or how we do music. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's hard at first, you know, and it was hard for me just getting out of that whole range of investing into myself, because, you know, every single artist is like, I'm the best artist out there. If I'm not listening to them, or if I haven't been listening to them on my headphones, I'm the best artist out there. And that is totally fine. You have to keep that same energy, keep that same mentality, but you have to be open to the constructive criticism of, hey, this is what, you know, actually needs to be done, or this is what has to be done in order to make your career go to the next level for you. Like, not for anyone else. If you want to do this, this is what has to be done. Yeah. And, you know, some artists, you know, will, you know, take that with a grain of salt and say, okay, I'll, you know, swallow my pride and let's go and, you know, invest into myself. Okay. Some artists will say, I'm not investing into myself. Some artists will, you know, want the handout. Yeah. And it's hard to decipher, you know, a lot of times with that, where it's, you know, sometimes you have an artist, like, for instance, if you've seen the Kanye West video or a documentary, where some of these artists, you know, he was using his barter system to say, hey, I'll shoot you a free beat, you know, whoever, or hey, you got a couple hours, or you got an hour on the end of your studio session. Can I use it? If nobody's using it, you guys left, can I get in? And what ends up happening? He's now a multi-platinum artist. So sometimes that it works out to its advantages, and, you know, but a lot of times, or most of the time, it's just if they're asking for the handout, they're not really going to be reciprocating anything on the back end. So it's, I want to try to work with all the artists, but at the same time, even when I'm, you know, coming up, I had to invest in myself. I had to swallow my pride and say, hey,
yeah,
I have to pay for this show. I have to pay for this. I have to pay for that. Yeah. It's the business. It's growing pains. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to teach. That's the hardest part to even teach anyone, because each and every person has their own different path in life, has, you know, different things going on. So just to teach them that growing pain is the hardest thing, but we all have to go through it.
Yeah. Well, you've been pretty calculated, and you've planned out your rise. You know, you've slowly been investing in studio time, and then videos behind the scenes. Like, you've been slowly. It's not like you don't have that big record money to play with, so you got to do it, you know, DIY on your own. But you've been planning it out nicely, and it's working. It's working for you. You know, you just keep going up.
It's all consistency, man. As long as you just stay on it, and, you know, don't quit. I possibly maybe took off 2 years right before I dropped Designer and Rose. And I felt like that was like the worst thing I ever did. It was like I had to start all the way over. You know what I mean? It was like I had to, you know, just get that whole momentum back. Even when I dropped the song, people didn't believe it, or, you know, didn't think of anything. Yeah. So I had to really stay consistent. And then once you start seeing videos, once you start seeing more songs and more songs, more shows and more shows, and behind the scenes vlogs and everything, now they're like, man, this guy's serious. And that's the whole thing. You just have to stay consistent, keep applying pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think from the time I spent with you, Larry Lavelle's been a big motivation for you too.
Yes.
Producer and our recording artist, Larry Lavelle. He's because
Yes,
I've been with you and him in the studio, and man, he's like giving you points. He's a great producer, man. He's really
Yes, sir.
behind the
Yes, sir.
scenes, hands on, and works with your skills and talents. So how tell us a little bit about your relationship with Larry?
Oh man, my guy Larry Lavelle on the track. Shout out Team GQP. Essentially, it was funny. We closer to my we had a mutual friend that worked with me at the time, and essentially they referred me to Larry Lavelle. So he was the head engineer at a different studio, and I started working there. It was actually like super close to my house, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't gotta go far. It's we can work. It's a good price, And the first time we sat down for a second, we had a whole conversation. He's from Cali. I'm from Cleveland. I'm from Atlanta. So I kind of have that East Coast sound. He has the West Coast sound. So I didn't know what to expect. So we had a whole conversation, and he was like, dude, I respect that you even just had that conversation with me. And ever since then, we just been working, because he knew what I wanted, and that's what he did. And then next thing you know, he was like, hey, I also, I'm Team GQP. Let's do some, I market manage labels, independent artists. Let's get you, some marketing strategies. Let's, try to build your brand.
Yeah.
And then that's when Potency Music Entertainment came about, because I was like, man, you just opened my eyes to a whole different thing. I was like, wait, I could be my own label. Wait, I could, it was a whole, a light bulb that just clicked off. And then I was like, okay, well, Team GQP needs to be my marketing management company, period. And that's how it's been. We've been rocking now for about 2-3 years, and hey, every single year has been growth, man. 2-3 years ago, I want to say we how we started. We in the studio. Now we were in LA in September doing shows, and now we're on our 12th show. So he's the host and helped produce your shows here locally. Yep, he produced the Turning Up the City Palooza on the 16th of September. He hosted all of the royal residencies in October, and he also has his own shows that he'll be throwing at Patio Nightclub. I think the first Thursday or the first or second Thursday of every single month. So y'all stay tuned for that. Follow GQP Events on Instagram, and follow Larry Lavelle on Instagram as well, and stay tuned in for all of Potency Music's new music and events as well. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sir. What's 2023 got in store for you? We got a lot, man. Honestly, I'm looking to drop at least 3 to 4 projects 2023. Also looking to stay on tour. At the New Year's going into 2023, we'll be performing co-hosted with Glorilla. So, she'll be coming out, turning up the city with us in Vegas. And then, from there, we'll just, I have a few more shows. I have one December 10th in Atlanta. And I have a few more in November at the end of this month. So just stay tuned, man. 2023, big stuff, man, with more videos, more vlogs, more everything, more music. I'm trying to top tier everything now. It's all full speed ahead, man. Yeah, nice. When's your next show here in Las Vegas? I actually have one November 27th at Patio Nightclub. Nice. All right. I think we're going to post this before then, so that'll be perfect. Yes, sir. We'll be up there.
Yo, man. I mean, we could go all night long, but it's already late, you know. So
Hey, man.
we covered some of the top things that we did last time.
Always, man. As long as we, hey,
yeah,
it's always great working with you,
I'm
big
glad
dog.
we could get you back, dude.
Hey, it's no thing, man. Hey, Avantpop calls, I'm there. Keefa's there, man. You already know, man.
Right on, man. Young Keefa, everybody. Go follow him on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
He's
Yes,
killing
sir.
it.
All platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in Young Keefa, Keefa. It's going to pop up.
And if you're in Vegas, his live show's been going off. Like anytime you can see him and that whole crew, like they you guys have been,
Yes,
you guys have
sir.
been lighting it on fire.
Yes, sir. We just did the first Friday festival as well downtown in Vegas, man. It had the whole stage lit up, the whole crowd just
No, we
stopped.
couldn't even get to you.
I'm sorry, man. Look, next time I'm putting the whole security traffic just for you, man. Like I got you.
We
Escort
just gotta
status.
get early, I guess. You know?
No, escort status.
There we
I
go.
got you a lanyard.
There you go.
I got you.
Young Keefa, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, have a good night, man. Stay safe. Keefa.
I want to thank Young Keefa for joining us today. You can listen to him on Spotify or whatever service that you stream your music on. Again, Young Keefa. Thank you so much. The theme music for Avantpop Bookstore Presents is performed by artist Dillashu. And I hope you can join us again for another edition of Avantpop Bookstore Presents.